Part 89. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 883. Boom. 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 The costs in the four directions of east, west, north, and south were opened at the same time. Almost at the same time, everything that had been prepared within the costs was rushed out. There is a moat outside the city, so there is no way to cross it directly, but everyone is not afraid at all, jumps directly into the river, and swims slowly across. When all the soldiers from both sides gather together, a heroic war is about to begin. The Mongolian cavalry has been consumed a lot before, and some of them have been lured away, so now the number of their cavalry has been greatly reduced, and they no longer have the same brave posture as before. In this case, the soldiers of the Song dynasty did not need to have any worries at all. What's more, there are archers on the city wall as cover, and the current force can be said to be very sufficient. Lu Feng continued to issue orders: all archers, get ready. Don't shoot aimlessly like before. Everyone, please pay attention. There are our own brothers outside the city wall. We should aim at the enemy before releasing arrows. Yes. All the archers in the four directions of east, west, north, and south immediately shouted in response after receiving the order. For a time, the soldiers' excited voices penetrated the sky and seemed extremely loud. From this moment on, the archers on the city wall released their bows and arrows. The speed has become very slow, which is completely two extremes compared to before. When releasing bows and arrows at the beginning, everyone wanted to release more arrows as quickly as possible. Only in this way can they kill as many people as possible. Kill the Mongolian soldiers. But now everyone is very calm and waiting for a suitable opportunity. They want to protect their own soldiers as much as possible when killing the Mongolians. In this way, the number of bows and arrows on the battlefield a lot less. Huang and Huang Zhong did not sit idly by at this time. The two of them cooperated with each other, one rode a horse and the other shot an arrow, and they all came to the battlefield. One was responsible for dealing with the enemy, and the other was responsible for dealing with the opponent. Counterkill, although there is only such a combination, but its effect is very good. After seeing this situation, Wu Liang and Cheng Lian also decided to follow suit, but before they made such a decision, they still asked Lu Feng for permission. The current general trend is that there is no need to worry about the city being captured by the other party, so Lu Feng agreed with their idea and did not stop them. What's more, if their cooperation can go further, the two sides will the tacit understanding between them will become better. In the future, when they lead the troops alone to fight, they will definitely be able to win even without Lu Feng. After receiving the agreement, Wu Liang and Cheng Lian quickly came down from the city wall, and the two of them chose the best a horse rushed directly to the battlefield. Following Guan Yu and Huang Zhong, Wu Liang was responsible for archery, and Cheng Lian was responsible for riding. The two of them cooperated like this, although the results of their cooperation were definitely not as good as those of Guan Yu and Huang Zhong is so strong, but after such a long period of polishing, it is far beyond the level of the general public. It is not a problem to counterattack the opponent on the battlefield. Now there are two such combinations, one on each side, which can also prevent Mongolian soldiers deserted, and the cooperation was flawless and impeccable. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 884. Seeing that everyone had rushed out, General Kui felt that he could no longer stay inside the city wall and enjoy the results. What's more, this battle was commanded by General Ping Chuan, so he couldn't stay on the city wall like this. He had to go out and kill the enemy bravely on the battlefield in order to leave a good impression on General Ping Chuan. General Ping Chuan is now a once-in-a-century genius. If he can really be appreciated by him, then General Kui's future journey will become limitless. Arriving in front of Lu Feng, General Kui volunteered. General, I also want to go to the battlefield and kill the enemy bravely. Please allow me, General. Lu Feng saw that General Kui was so proactive and did not want to attack him. The other party, not to mention the city wall, had its own handle, so there was no need to worry about Mongolian people suddenly breaking in, so they agreed to General Kui's request. General Kui, wearing battle armor and riding a horse, rushed out. The moat outside the city where he was now almost destroyed, so as long as he was a little faster, he could cross the moat directly on horseback. Arriving on the battlefield, General Kui pulled out his sword and directly engaged the Mongols in a horseback battle. If Lu Feng found it interesting, it wasn't because he thought General Kui didn't have that strength, but because he didn't expect General Kui to be such a brave general, so he would pay special attention to the other party after he went out, and he could also take a look at Kui Zhangjun. What is the strength of? The other people who rushed out were all brought out by Lu Feng, so there was no doubt about their strength, and Lu Feng had never doubted them. On the other hand, General Kui, because it was his first time meeting him, so he didn't trademark know his strength. Looking from a distance, you can vaguely see that General Kui killed several Mongolian soldiers in succession, and he became more and more brave and fierce as he killed. It was like he was red-eyed. The corners of Lu Feng's mouth turned up slightly. It seemed that General Kui was indeed an ambitious person. Normally, he must exercise regularly, otherwise it would be impossible for him to have such skills. And you must know that there is usually no war at all. In other words, General Kui has a mentality of being prepared for danger in times of peace. This mentality allows him to maintain a high-intensity training, so that he can kill the enemy bravely on the scene now. Lu Feng nodded silently. Maybe this General Kui could be used by him in the future. Now the situation on the battlefield has been reversed. The Mongolian people can't hold on for long. In less than an hour, all the Mongolian soldiers have been defeated. Just like Lu Feng's previous order, no one from the Mongolian country was left alive and all were annihilated. This can be regarded as revenge for those comrades who sacrificed their lives. When his soldiers began to clean the battlefield, Lu Feng slowly stood up from his position and returned to the city wall. After another hour, no matter whether it was inside or outside the city, the traces left on the battlefield have now been cleaned up, and many Mongolian soldiers' belongings have been successfully looted. Although there were casualties in this battle, but it can be considered a fruitful return. Compared with the losses, there are actually a lot of things gained. Mongolia already has a lot of bows and arrows, plus the grain and grass they brought over. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 885. After this battle, the Mongolian soldiers were completely wiped out. Their country no longer had the strength to fight, and could only wait for Lu Feng to lead the army to flatten their homeland. The only royal descendant of Mongolia originally planned to surrender, but he was shot dead by Huang Zhong with an arrow before he could walk out of the city gate. Lu Feng has long said that there is no need to be polite to these foreigners. When they are strong, what they think of is not peaceful coexistence, but the killing of their own compatriots. Well, now it's the other way around. The opponent has been defeated, and the blood revenge from back then must be avenged. Mongolia instantly fell into a bloody storm, and everyone was worried about whether they could survive until tomorrow, but Lu Feng would not show mercy, and the speed with which he struck shocked everyone. After Lu Feng destroyed the Jin kingdom and the Mongolian kingdom, other smaller foreign countries did not dare to make mistakes and submitted letters of surrender one after another, hoping to forgive their own countries and their own people. These small foreign countries said that they were willing to be vassals and pay tribute every year, and would never regret it. Their attitude was also very respectful, and they said that as long as Lu Feng was willing, they were willing to contribute the most beautiful beauties in the country every year to the Song dynasty. Lu Feng laughed. What he wanted was not as simple as the Song dynasty. What he wanted was the whole world, so he refused all surrenders from these people. With the army, they rushed towards the small foreign countries. These small foreign countries knew that they did not have the strength to fight, so they combined into a group of alliance armies. It is a pity that the union between small countries is simply impossible for today's small countries. Each race has its own thoughts, and they simply cannot unite together. Lu Feng seized on their special psychology and used alienation tactics against each race. I am the army. Before they could defeat them, their own alliance army collapsed first. In this way, these small foreign countries were defeated one by Lu Feng with his army. After all the small foreign countries were defeated and he claimed that all the land in the world belonged to him, Feng left the border and returned to the central plains. At this time, Song Litsong, who was still sitting on the dragon throne, was very collapsed, because for him, all the armies were now in the hands of Lu Feng, and he had no ability to fight against him. Dear gentlemen, could you please tell us what we should do? You can't give the Song dynasty to the other party, right? Our Song dynasty continues to this day, and I don't a Euro trademark T want to be an emperor who subjugates his country. Seeing that the situation was over, Song Litsong felt very headache. He did not want to be an emperor who would subjugate his country, but the facts were before his eyes. Whether she accepted it or not, this was the future trend that was bound to go. He could only put all his hopes in for my own ministers. I hope that the ministers can come up with a good way to solve the national crisis. Your Majesty, why don't you go out and surrender? If you surrender voluntarily, maybe the other party will give you the last bit of face. If you don't want to, the outcome may not be much better than those foreign thieves. At this time, a minister immediately stood up and advocated surrender. Compared with the hundreds of thousands of troops in Lu Feng's hands, Yingtian Mansion now only has less than 30,000 forbidden troops. They are no match at all. How can they defeat them? Three Kingdoms, I have a job transfer palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 886. All the ministers were well aware of this matter, but it was not yet time for Yingtian Mansion to be destroyed, so many people did not speak out about it openly. Yingtianfu has less than 30,000 imperial troops, and most of them have neglected their training. Now if they want to fight a large army that has been on the battlefield, it is not a question of how long they can last, but how long it will take. How can we kill all the incoming troops? You want me to save my last bit of face, but now that the country is gone, how can I face my ancestors? How can I face my father and grandfather when I get off the ground? How can Song Litsong still have the courage to be an emperor at this moment? He is going crazy now. For any emperor, being the king of subjugation is not something that can be easily accepted. It is still a very traditional era. If in Song Litsong if this dynasty has lost the world, then he will not have the face to face his ancestors. Please express your condolences, Your Majesty, there is nothing we can do. When these ministers reached this critical moment, they looked on with cold eyes. It was not that they did not love their country, but that they saw that the country had no hope. Even if another person became the emperor, it would not be affected by the ministers. As long as the ministers can go out in advance to surrender and express their willingness to surrender. They are not members of the royal family, so Lu Feng will still accept their surrender. Therefore, these ministers have already had a way out, and they are not worried about their own life or death at all. Of course, I don't a Euro trademark T care what Song Litsong wants. You losers, I have raised you for so many years, but you don't a Euro trademark T have an idea at this critical moment? Get them all out of here. Get out. I never want to see you again. Song Litsong was so angry that he couldn't do anything. He couldn't think of a way, and the ministers didn't pay attention to him. He was obviously a subjugated king, and he didn't need Lu Feng's army to fight him. All of them, the minister could only remain silent and retreat. No one spoke to his colleagues who usually worked together, because they all knew that no matter what they said at this time, it would be nonsense. It would be better to wait until Lu Feng entered Yingtian mansion, flattering the new leader. The next day, the maids who were packing up their belongings in the palace and preparing to escape came out with the news that Song Litsong burned himself to death. Now, the remaining royal children of the Song dynasty do not dare to provoke Lu Feng. They learned from the outside world it was rumored that Lu Feng was very ruthless as a general, so they all chose to commit suicide to seek relief. The funny thing is that they did not know that although Lu Feng was ruthless, he only targeted those people from the foreign countries. The Han people were very cruel to their compatriots. Merciful. So when Lu Feng's army returned to the court, all the civil and military officials and many people went out to greet him and cheered. His Majesty the new Emperor, long live, long live, long live, long live. Long live His Majesty the Emperor, long live, long live. Your Majesty the Emperor, forever. The ministers and people welcomed the return of Lu Feng and the army with such cheers. At the same time, the change of this title also opened a new chapter of the dynasty. Of course, the other soldiers did not have any reaction, but they were very happy with themselves. The person you admire the most can become the most noble emperor in the world. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 887. Lu Feng entered the Yingtian mansion amidst the welcome from the streets. The wealthy Yingtian mansion lacked nothing. When Lu Feng led people to open the treasury, it further proved what it means to be rich. The Song dynasty was indeed the richest dynasty. The wealth it possessed could fully support the tribute paid to other foreign states every year, and at the same time, it could also manage domestic problems. Lu Feng ordered that the money be used to restore the national government. It happened to have experienced a war, and the entire country was in dire need. What was missing could only be supplemented by spending a lot of money. Fortunately, the national treasury has money and can support a series of actions. As for Lu Feng, he will definitely not stay in this world for too long. His mission has been completed, and it is not up to him to sort out the remaining things. Anyway, Lu Feng's harem was powerful, so he decided that it would be enough to choose one of them to come to this world to be the emperor and rule the world. Anyway, the women in the harem would give birth to one each, which was enough for him to allocate. These different worlds are like planes to him, and they are also divisions of his own empire. It is normal to entrust his own land to his son. After handling the national affairs of this world, Lu Feng established the Wanglong dynasty, which means a kingdom that looks up to the Shenlong Empire. It is one level lower than Shenlong and belongs to the sub-territory. For now, leave it to the officials you personally promoted to manage it, and then arrange for your heirs to come over after you return. After passing the job transfer hall, Yang and Xiao Longnu were brought back. Unfortunately, Yang had not experienced the ups and downs of life, and his character was no different from that of a child. Xiao Longnu completely regarded him as a little brat, no different from taking care of his son. Lu Feng rolled his eyes and rolled his eyes. Who would want such a free son? In the end, it was decided to throw Yang to the border of the empire for training. Special places like the border cannot be peaceful forever, even though the world has been unified by Lu Feng. But all kinds of people like to be far away from the central plains, and they will feel psychologically relaxed. Of course, this is also because the further away the place is, the easier it is to escape from the legal system. In a place like that, although there were a lot of people and snakes mixed together, it was just enough for Yang to experience. Xiao Longnu stayed in the harem. For a pure person like her, there was no point in giving a title, so she just gave her the title of noble concubine. Lu Feng fell into the gentle land in the harem, playing with the concubines, and the system did not provoke him for half a year, allowing him to become the emperor of the Shenlong Empire with peace of mind. During the half-year he stayed in the palace, good news came one after another from the harem. Several women were pregnant. I believe that next year Lu Feng will have both children and a happy family. Of course, this is just what he thought about. The system will not let him go easily. Ding, the host is asked to go to the 4 famous hunting worlds and complete the task of sweeping out the Japanese pirates. After completing the task, you will get the opportunity to transfer to a military commander for free. When Lu Feng heard the familiar voice, his first reaction was to think about who he should take to the new world, but as the system released the mission, he suddenly didn't want to take anyone with him. In the world of the 4 famous hunters, it is difficult to say which world it is. The original work was a drama about 4 men, and the dynasty was also in the Song dynasty. But later, as modern people kept turning over it, and more versions appeared, the world of the 4 famous catchers also changed. After editing and adaptation, even the dynasty was not the Song dynasty. This system mission is related to Japanese pirates, and it is very likely that the Ming dynasty background is what we are going to do. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 888. During the Ming dynasty, although other countries still existed, because they were powerful, other countries did not dare to compete with the Ming dynasty. The only problem is the Japanese pirates, the Yamato people of the Fuzu kingdom. Because their country is in chaos, these people have spawned many wandering samurai. These wandering warriors wandered to the coastal areas of the Ming dynasty. They found that the Central Plains was rich, and they desperately wanted to stay here. Compared with them, ordinary people who had little fighting ability would be bullied. There are also more and more wandering warriors from Fuzu. They gradually gather together and form a very powerful force along the coast. The Ming dynasty was also famous for its weird emperors. When the Japanese pirates caused trouble, the whole country was going downhill, and there was not much spare power to deal with the Japanese pirates. According to this tip, it is very likely that the world of the 4 famous catchers we went to this time is an adapted world, but we don't a Euro trademark T know which one it is. Forget it, let a Euro trademark S go there first. There's no point in guessing here. Lu Feng went to the job transfer hall. This time he didn't bring anyone with him. He went there and looked at it. Anyway, there were no enemies and there was no ferry setting. His force value must be the best in the world. No worries about safety issues at all. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I think other worlds are very dangerous. In any case, you should bring 2 personal guards there. No matter if they are your pawns, there must be someone to serve you. Mad Dog Dianwei felt very sad that Lu Feng didn't take anyone with him. Dianwei, you don't a Euro trademark T have to worry. The place I a Euro trademark am going to this time is considered a martial arts world. The value of plain force is not high and no one is my opponent. You can rest assured and wait for me to return in triumph. Lu Feng asked Dianwei to rest assured and wait for him to come back in the palace. If I come back late, I have already told the Ministry of Rights the names of the children, and let the Ministry of Rights prepare the naming gifts for the princes and princesses. Lu Feng finally told other ministers that if they go to the 4 famous worlds for too long, after the children are born, let the Ministry of Rights handle things first according to the rules. He has already given instructions to the Ministry of Rights, and he has prepared all the things that should be prepared. If it is not necessary going to the world of the 4 famous catchers, he shouldn't even miss the birth of his child. However, for the sake of the Han people in each world, he didn't mind working a little harder. In the transfer hall, he quickly completed the world leap. Wait until Lu Feng comes again. When I looked at the surrounding environment, I was no longer in the original world. There was a dark alley with the stench of garbage. I looked up and saw that the moon was sparse. In the darkness, the alley was even darker, and a terrifying atmosphere filled the air. Come on. Lu Feng walked out of the box and looked at the surrounding environment. It was not a wealthy family, but there was a place like a medicine shop not far away. It was built very comfortably. Many ordinary people went to see doctors in this place, but the cost of medicine here is very low, and many people even get it for free, which is regarded as charity. Looking in the completely opposite direction, there is a special building, which is very gorgeous and has very high floors. The more gorgeous palace was one floor lower. When Lu Feng saw the palace and this building, he thought to himself, is this the capital? It really doesn't look like it. The palace must be in the capital, but why does the overall environment here look so poor? Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 889. The whole house is dark in color, and the house seems to be in disrepair. Lu Feng rubbed his temples. It seems that the world of the four famous trappers is the world in the movie. After all, except for the movie version of the four famous catchers, no editor has ever described the capital city as so poor. Entering the pharmacy, the clerk came out to say hello in a very friendly manner. What does this guest need? How to get to Shenhou Mansion? Lu Feng got straight to the point. In his impression, the movie version of the Shenhou Mansion was not a secret, nor was it a tightly guarded mansion. Anyone with an innocent fortune could come in and out at will. He knew this very well, so he could ask directly. Anyway, in the eyes of others, in my eyes, Shenhou Mansion is not a particularly remarkable place. I was originally looking for the Shenhou Mansion, but you went the wrong way. The Shenhou Mansion is at the end of the street next door. Just go to the end and turn right. The guy was not surprised at all. He would not stop others from requesting the Shenhou Mansion. Instead, he looked very familiar. Lu Feng thanked him and left. After a while, he arrived at the door of the Shenhou Mansion, and the golden imperial gift plaque also proved that knowing the accuracy of Shenhou Mansion, De Lang and Linger stopped Lu Feng at the door. Who are you? What are you doing in our Shenhou Mansion? Dallin had never seen Lu Feng before. Seeing him always at the door, he felt strange. He was worried that someone from Six Doors came here to act as a spy. Hey, Big Wolf, don't be so angry. This little brother is a master. I wonder if he is interested in helping our Shenhou Mansion. Zhujiang came out from behind. His beard on his chin was braided. He was very recognizable. He looked at Lu Feng with a kind look. With his overall combat power, he could tell at a glance that Lu Feng was very strong. He is not an opponent, and he has always respected such people. Of course, because of his lack of strength, he does not want to easily provoke hatred. With the appearance of Zhujiangguo, Tai Yuxia and Shen Yue also appeared in his behind him. Lu Feng took a few more glances to make sure that no one else appeared. It seems that the current timeline has not yet arrived when all four famous arrests are in place. It may change in a few days. Does this little brother want to find someone? Maybe you can find someone faster if you stay in our Shenhou Mansion. Zhujiang, an old fox like me, of course saw the look in Lu Feng's eyes. He thought Lu Feng came to the Shenhou Mansion to find someone, and he was very active in showing his goodwill to Lu Feng. But secretly he was confirming with Shen Yue that she had learned from Lu Feng. What did he read? Shen Yue's focused eyes looked at Lu Feng, but he got nothing. He could only shake his head at Zhujiangguo. There was a trace of incredulity in Zhujiangguo's eyes. Shen Yue's ability, they all knew that there was no heart that she couldn't read, but now she couldn't read Lu Feng's heart. This had to be said, which surprised everyone in the Shenhou Mansion. I do have some personal matters, and I hope Shenhou Mansion can help me. Before that, I will help Shenhou Mansion and be friends with you. Mr. Zudge, don't a Euro trademark to you mind? Lu Feng paused and thought of an excuse. To Zhugenji, this excuse is not very important, as long as Lu Feng has no ill intentions. Of course, everyone is welcome at Shenhou Mansion. We are all very friendly. Do you want to eat hot pot? Zhugenji waved to me and invited Lu Feng to eat hot pot together. This is also a traditional project of Shenhou Mansion. Three Kingdoms, I have a job transfer palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 890. Of course Lu Feng wouldn't mind, not to mention how good it is to eat hot pot, how delicious it is. Hi, we are all friends, so don't be polite. My dear wife will bring you some nice wine later. What do you call this, brother? Let's have a drink together later. Daong came over. As long as they are accepted by Zhugenga, they will accept them unconditionally. Their trust in Zhugenga is ridiculously high. Lu Feng, the beacon fire lasts for 3 months. Lu Feng briefly introduced himself. Brother Lu, are you married? Ding Dang came over with admiration. The moment she saw Lu Feng appear, she was impressed by Lu Feng. His magnanimity and handsome appearance were unmatched by other people in the Shenhou Mansion. Hey, what are you doing? Their marriage has nothing to do with you. Daong immediately became anxious. He was interested in Ding Dang, but Ding Dang was not interested in him anyway. And with a handsome man like Lu Feng appearing, it's strange that he wasn't anxious. Hee, don't be anxious, Daong. Sometimes this kind of thing is beyond human control. You have to learn to take it and let it go. Dallin and Linger are a couple. They have already made up their mind. They are waiting for the opportunity to get married officially after things calm down. Watching Daong, a single guy, get anxious, they treat it as a free show. Humph, brother Lu, ignore them. This mutton is delicious. Eat more. Ding Dang rolled his eyes at them and gave Lu Feng some food. As expected of the Shenhou Mansion, ordinary people can hardly even eat rice, but they can even eat mutton. You guys had a great time eating, it seems like I got the wine for free. Jiao Niang walked slowly with a beautiful kitten in her arms. What she brought was 18-year-old Na Hong. She had collected many bottles, but only people from the Shenhou Mansion could enjoy them. Hey, a young man came today? He may look unfamiliar, but he has a noble temperament and is probably not a mortal. Your Shenhou Mansion really has a special appeal. Jiao Niang drives the Ziwixian Tower and has seen many people. Her eyes are vicious and cruel. She dare not say anything else. She can clearly understand at a glance whether a person's status is high or low. Jiao Niang, this is Lu Feng. He is helping out at Shenhou Mansion for the time being. Brother Lu, this is Jiao Niang. They are all the shopkeepers of Ziwixian Tower. Zhugenga made a simple and casual introduction. He is not pretending to be unpredictable, but he is really capable and can see many things. Although he is not as good as Lu Feng, he himself does not know how to do it. He doesn't mind whether he loses or wins. As long as his life is good, he can look past anything. Okay, I understand. If anything happens in the future, Ziwixian Tower will be able to find me. Jiao Niang is also a casual person. She is used to understanding the ways of the world. She will not refuse anyone from the Shenhou Mansion. If anyone needs help, she will not refuse. Thank you very much for your kindness. Lu Feng said a rare thank you. He felt surprisingly relaxed with these people. Maybe this mission is the only one where he didn't need to pay attention to Fan Bang. In the past, he had to run up and down for the Han people every time. There are so many people in Fan Bang that the Ming dynasty is at an advantage this time, but it allows him not to worry about the invasion from the outside. As long as the internal affairs are sorted out, the system tasks can be solved. It is the easiest task, and you can still get along with these people. It is indeed more comfortable. It feels like a small home here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 891. A few people gathered around to eat hot pot. Not long after, Lu Feng, under the personal arrangement of Zhuge, lived in the back room, just next door to Shen Yeu. At dawn the next day, he heard a crowd of people outside. Lu Feng went out to check. It turned out that Lai Aman was investigating the case and seemed to be eyeing an inspector who had just returned to Beijing to report on his work. Inspector is a military rank in the army, starting from the 5th rank. He does not need to go to the battlefield. He is only responsible for supervising the behavior and moral character of the soldiers in the military camp. There should be no corruption of military pay. This was a small case that he had never heard of. Lu Feng judged that it should be the last case that Leng Shui investigated before entering the Shenhou mansion. When this case is over, it will be the copper coin case. On a whim, he jumped on the roof and followed the people from 6 doors to a remote cabin. The people from 6 doors were setting up to surround it. Leng Linky was at the back door, which was the only way out. He blocked the place. Even if the people inside wanted to escape, they couldn't escape. Leng Linky would take action to arrest them. What a Euro trademark is interesting is that Han Long and the others are also there. Before the 4 famous arresters of Shenhou Mansion gathered together, Han Long, Sen Kong and the others were the 4 famous arresters of the 6 gates. If this movie version of the world hadn't added some fantasy spirits, it wouldn't actually be so uncomfortable for moviegoers. After all, the focus of suspense-related crime solving has been changed, and many viewers don't buy it. After a cup of tea, several black shadows burst out of the back door through the window. They seemed to be trying to break out. Leng Linky was already prepared to break out at the back door at any time. Several black figures were beaten down to only one in the blink of an eye. Just as Leng Linky was about to catch up, he was grabbed by the man who fell to the ground and couldn't let go for a while. His goal was to capture these people alive, so he felt a little aggrieved because he couldn't kill anyone. Lu Feng took action at this time and slapped the last person who was trying to escape back. The person fell to the ground and vomited blood, suddenly losing his ability to fight. "Thank you." Leng Linky hesitated for 2 seconds, and then said thank you. He was just nicknamed cold-blooded, but in fact he was cold-hearted and warm-hearted. He never hesitated to say anything. "Make a friend, we will meet again in the future." Lu Feng took out a piece of paper. This was a piece of evidence. It was just thrown out by these people who were trying to escape. It seems that they wanted to destroy the evidence, but Lu Feng took action too quickly and they didn't have time. "You are an upright person. If I have a chance to meet you in the future, I will definitely treat you as a friend." Leng Linky didn't say anything. He took the things and took the people back to the 6 doors to deliver the goods. Lu Feng shrugged his shoulders. This person has such a cold temperament. Don't pay too much attention to it. When he left, he happened to see Zhou Ming to collect debts. He also lets go over and see who else is so unlucky and has been targeted by Death Chaser. "Kui Louis Hang, why do you have to work hard for them? As long as you don't say anything about this money, you can get 10% of our store's business in the future, okay?" A group of people gathered together to watch the excitement. The person in trouble was a businessman with a mustache. Behind him was a jewelry shop. It seemed that this man was the owner of the shop. He didn't know why he owed money. Now he is chasing his life. That is to say, Kui Louis Hang came to the door, and the other party started to deal with it in a panic. "You have money to pay back, but you have to delay it. I don't a Euro trademark T understand what you want to do." Kui Louis Hang pouted. He would only pay back money to people who were really in need. He didn't care about those who had money but didn't want to pay it back. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 892. The shop owner had a headache and his face turned ugly because Kui Louis Hang was telling the truth. He could indeed pay back the money, but if he paid back the money now, the shop would have no liquidity. So he kept delaying the repayment. Unexpectedly, the creditor directly invited Kui Louis Hang over, which gave him a headache. Kui Louis Hang has never had a debt that cannot be recovered, and his reputation for pursuing life has long spread to many places. I'm not interested in what you are doing with the money in your hand. I only know that if you don't give it to me, I can't give an explanation to the donor. You'd better be honest, otherwise I won't mind going to your account in person. Take money. He issued a final warning, scolding the shopkeeper if he didn't pay him again, he would do it himself. Hey, Dona Euro trademark T, Dona Euro trademark T, Dona Euro trademark Ta Euro Kana Euro trademark T, I give it to you. When the shop owner saw Zui Ming's legs raised, he was immediately frightened. Who doesn't know how powerful Zui Ming's legs are? He heard that he can break a sword with his bare feet. He really has the skills and no one dares to provoke him. Look. The shop owner was afraid and took out the money. Zui Ming then put down his serious attitude. After confirming that the amount was correct, he turned around and left. Lu Feng followed. Zui Ming was a cautious person and jumped up without saying a word. Qing Gong wanted to avoid Lu Feng. This was because he mistook Lu Feng for his enemy. After all, he was a debt collector. Someone must be dissatisfied with him and take revenge in return. Lu Feng quickly spared the route and was in front. He went to stop Zui Ming. Zui Ming was surprised. Why was Lu Feng faster than him? Hey, I haven't met anyone faster than me for a long time. Where does this brother come from? I don't have a good drink today, so why not leave your name and I'll have a drink with you again when I have the opportunity. You don't want to make enemies when chasing your life. Since the opponent can stop you in front of you, it proves that you have deep internal strength and is a master. He will definitely not be able to defeat him, so you might as well give in. Be friends. It's good. We will have the opportunity to eat hot pot and drink good wine together in the future. There is a lot of good wine in Ziwixianlu. We can drink together and chat. I'm just afraid that you don't want to make friends with me. Lu Feng smiled. This Zui Ming was indeed a person who judged the situation. He knew how to read the air best at all times. Of course, no problem. I, Kui Louis Hang, was given face by someone in the world and told me to pursue my life. I wonder who this friend is. Zui Ming is very happy. Of course it's best to be friends. He doesn't want to become an enemy with someone he can't beat. Lu Feng, the beacon fire in March, has no name and no number. If you want to find me, you can go to Ziwixian Tower. The shopkeeper there is a good person. You can get any news from her. Although Lu Feng temporarily lives in the Shenhou mansion, he is not from the Shenhou mansion. He stayed here all night yesterday and will not go back today. He will do it every day. Why not let the girl from Ziwixian Tower do it for you? The role of a liaison, you can know anything. Okay, then it's settled. I've also settled on Brother Lu, a good friend. I still have things to do today, so I'll say goodbye. See you later. Kui Louis Hang clasped his fists and said goodbye. He has to return all the money recovered to the creditor and get his own reward from the creditor. He likes drinking very much, and 9 out of 10 times he takes the money and uses it to drink. Now, he must be in a hurry to get money to try the latest good wines. Everyone in the wine shops in the capital knows him.